and expand.
Let's get as one Crookshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, checking in for a daily Move Swiftly thought, giving you a perspective on teamwork you will not get anywhere else. We do not teach you how to rise to the occasion. We teach you how to fall to your level of preparation. Fairly different. We'll say a light day. Seeing that today, my headphones weren't charged up, so had to go with no music. It was a 2-mile day, giving myself a little bit of a recovery after yesterday, so I can hit a strong 10-mile a day tomorrow. Ate right, recovered. It was fun. I actually, again, went to if you recall the video yesterday, telling you I'm going to a Marlins game, so that was fun. Got a chance to run the bases with the young ones. It was a great event that I will get to maybe at some point as we go along here. So as far as today's Move Swiftly thought, which is also today's Make Your Move Monday kickoff question. Question being straight up, are you being talked about? All right, are you being talked about? We're going to sort of do a kind of a mix between the importance of, I'm going to tell you why I can no longer do the, I'm not going to tell you why specifically. I'm going to tell you the way I took the news in which I can no longer host my podcast at the school I teach at. Again, I'll break that down in the live stream, which you may or may not be listening to this on right now. But also I'll be talking all week and talking specifically today all week about the value and the importance of being talked about. And the main question that you need to ask yourself, the main answer. So basically, this is how the whole thing works. It is I'll pose a question, and then I will answer the question for myself. And then as I answer the question, I kind of throw the ball in your court, kind of give you the give and goes to ask. You got to ask the question yourself, as a way of creating opportunities, as a way of, kind of doing a self-inventory and check-in on, are you developing and are you actually being provided the information? Are you actually putting yourself on a trajectory to grow, to develop, to get better, all that kind of stuff, right? So the question on the table, plain and simple, is, are you being talked about? And my answer is obviously yes, in so many different ways. And it's not just in my current place of employment. This has happened every single place I've been. It's just part of the deal. Ever since I was a kid, this was part of the deal. When you run around with a name like As One Crookshank, the way I carry myself, the way I maneuver, the way I just am very, very focused and things like that, I've gotten very, very used to it. And the question now for you is, are you being talked about? And are you welcoming it? Are you embracing it? Are you actually the person to say, you know what, I know people talk about me, I know people talk a lot of shit about me, but I'm going to stay focused, I'm going to stay laser focused on my goal, I'm going to have tunnel vision, and I'm going to let those people talk because I know it's a sign that I'm doing something great. That has to be the way you take it. And again, it's easier said than done, because you can very well feel attacked when you're initially accepting this gift and accepting this reality that people are constantly talking about you. However, it's not something that you're attacking you. It's something internally wrong with the people that are constantly, have your name in their mouth and things like that. So we'll get into all of that throughout the entire week. We're going to bring in some of the lessons that we've learned from the tragic loss of Charlie Kirk, and then also talk a little bit about Biff Poggi, who's 1-0. My Michigan Wolverines, he's 1-0. I got a big one against Nebraska this weekend, so hopefully you can go 2-0 and all that kind of stuff. So all that being said, main website to check out to dive deeper into all the work I do to makeyourmove.com. That's makeyourmove.com. One-stop shop for your teamwork and your self-development needs. As One Crookshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker. Check it out. You guys continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon. You heard it, folks. As One Crookshank here, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, former Division I college football player and current 5-time, soon-to-be 6-time published author and educator. I created this whole brand, this whole framework, this whole mindset, this whole philosophy that's all about taking the innovative teamwork lessons that you learn on the football field and applying them to businesses and business owners, so they have a staff and or a group of employees that moves as efficiently as a championship high school or youth football team. Back for another Make Your Move Monday from a different location. Let me just gotta get this story off. Before I actually start, because it's going to lead into my announcements in terms of employee development,
normally, and I'll tell you why when I get to the article, but normally there's a Starbucks that's not too far from where I teach, and I like to go there, get my coffee, and record the show and stuff like that. So I guess because it's a Monday, it's a brand new week or whatever, the person just didn't show up. Whoever was supposed to open up at 5 a.m. didn't show up. And, people were at the parking lot. They're upset because, hey, some people actually paid for their online order and they took their money. The person didn't show up, all sorts of mess. So, I had to drive over here to an Einstein Bagel where they have some incredible bagels to do what I have to do, record the show, and then head over to the school because, again, I can't record at the school anymore, which, again, it really, really throws a monkey wrench in my morning, seeing that I'm such an early riser. I wake up, I go take my run. It's good for me to just, go after I shower at the gym, go right to the school. So I just had to, flip it up a little bit. And again, I'll get to why that's actually significant in regards to where we're going to be going, where this brand, where this channel, and shout out to the new subscribers, by the way, where this channel, where all the work I've been doing, all the things that I have been able to immerse myself in, why it's going to be taking a step to another level because of this idea and because of this embrace and this acceptance of being talked about and being talked about and being talked about and being talked about. It's so very important that you have made the decision and you accept that if you're going to be in this space, if you're going to be this leader, if you're going to be this person that is an influential member in society, you got to accept the fact that you will be talked about and you got to welcome it. And it's not the majority. So a lot of it isn't going to be things you want to hear, right? It's only going to be things that are going to be making you better. You get out of the world what you put into the world. So if you put into the world everything that you got, you put your heart on the table, you absolutely show up every day giving it your all, you're going to be talked about in a way that can only make you better if that's what you're putting out. All right, that's what you got to do. All right, so before I do that, let me just get through a quick announcement. Like I mentioned on the Move Swiftly thought this morning, main website to check out to dive deeper into all the work I do is everything employee development. If you're sick and tired of replacing staff and hiring this one and finding workers, this one doesn't work out. If you're sick and tired of not having a system in place, oh, nice. So sorry, I got a message there. But look, if you're so sick and tired of not having a system in place that's going to make it so you don't have to spend your profits on continuously rehiring folks, I need you to go to makeyamove.com. That's MAKEYAMOVE.com. You can get the free guide there. You can book me to speak, or you can just simply learn more about me. Just hit the shop now button and all the information, all the ways in which you can purchase books, whatever it is you need, employee development wise. We are working we have what you need, employee development. All right, turn your business into a championship team. It is common knowledge that the best way to win in business or in life is by avoiding ways to lose. Whether you just started a new business or you've been in business for quite some time, there's no getting around the need to hire or outsource certain elements of your organization so things can run as efficiently as possible. When you book your meeting with Oswald, he'll diagnose what the issues are with your current system and then strategically create a system in which will lead to a reduced amount of turnover or a clear understanding of the parts of your business that need to be outsourced. All right, so all that being said, let's jump into today's Make Your Move Monday kick-off question. Are you being talked about? And just again, to give you a little bit of some context when it comes to this and why I'm actually needing to record at local coffee shops around the school I teach at, it's because I was told that recording the show in the building is something that's now I won't mention the school name because there's a lot of value when it comes to the school. The entrepreneur concept and what I do with the school is so important because of how far I've come. So I won't mention the name of the school in this particular live stream, but if you met me and you know who I am, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I don't want it to come off as a complaint. This is where we're going to take you today, all right? Because there's a lot of things that can happen to people. I could have took the news that I can't record the show at the school as something that I'm doing a bad job, or there's a situation in which I'm not measuring up to some sort of standard that was placed on me. when it's actually not the case. It's the fact that I am being talked about, the fact that I am part of a discussion is meaning I'm being elevated. And that's the lens in which I want you guys to see these things. You don't want to ever, no matter what the conversation is, no matter what circumstance you have to deal with, you never want to be in a place where you're starting to leave that situation with a bitter taste in your mouth, where you're having strife with folks, or you're having a strife with your own personal balance and the things that you want to be in. So I can't take the fact that, oh, I got told I can't record a show in the school, that it's just a bad podcast. I'm just a horrible public speaker, and I can't. I'm just so damn bad at doing what the hell it is I'm doing on the podcast that all of a sudden I have to stop doing it. That's not the way to take it. You have to take it as you're being talked about so much that it's actually ruffling some feathers, and it's making people uncomfortable at the fact that you're able to show up and do your job and do multiple things and stuff like that. That's the way you have to take it, and that part of it is so key, because I've been blessed enough to have two parents in my life, father, he's back home between my mother and father. Actually, I called him yesterday. I've been so blessed to be given values at home, to where it doesn't matter what the situation is, as one's going to have a positive mindset and a positive approach toward doing what he needs to do. That's why he's being talked about. He's being talked about because he's actually a good role model for the students that he teaches. And it could be this school, you can take him and put him in another school, Doesn't matter where you put him. He's still going to be as one who's a good, positive, influential person for the students that he teaches. That's where we're going to go today. All right. So first things first, let's dive right into the article today, as we always do. And I love that image. I really just love that image. But are you being talked about? The Make Your Move Monday kickoff question. Make Your Move Monday kickoff question that hits harder than you think. My eyes want correction. Move Swift plus LY. Just so we're clear. 1000% clear on why I chose this as the image today. One of my favorite authors, is a guy named Seth Godin. Seth Godin wrote a book titled Purple Cow. And they kind of just, it's the straight marketing advice when it comes to Purple Cow. Right? Purple Cow is basically the subtitle of it is how to be remarkable and stand out. So I chose this image because it was the last Dolphins game I went to, it was the preseason game when they played the Jaguars, where I just the week before I went back to Maryland for my niece's Sweet 16, and I went back to Maryland for that, but also I wanted to make sure I didn't leave Maryland without getting my Washington Commanders hat, so I could really rep my squad in South Florida, right? So we go to this Dolphins game, and I make sure I put on my Washington Commanders hat. And when you read the book, and we're going to talk about Seth Godin in the article, but when you read the book, it's like you always have to stand out. You don't talk about the average person. He actually says that you don't talk about an average carpeting salesman. You don't talk about an average car salesman. You don't talk about an average player. You don't talk about an average, filling like average waitress, an average CEO. You talk about the people that are remarkable and that are sticking out in certain ways, right? The reason Charlie Kirk was talked about so much because he was remarkable enough to actually say the things that are true. And even though he knew he was going to get a lot of people upset based on what he said, he was remarkable enough to actually say it and stand out and do it and stand on business based on facts. So that's where that image came. But that's what it was like actually at the game, because, again, I'm in Miami and you're wearing a damn Washington Commanders hat. It's like, whoa, I got to rep my squad, baby. Rep my squad no matter what. No matter what. All right. So all that being said, let's get straight to it. Are you being talked about? That's the Make Your Move Monday kickoff question this week. And if you're new to the Move Swiftly platform, welcome to it. Welcome. Every Monday, we start with a question designed to challenge your thinking, push your growth, and remind you that leadership is not a title. It's a decision. Ooh, we got to say that one again. For the people all the way in the back, all the way in the back. We got to say it. But yeah, we got to say it for the people all the way in the back, 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 all the way in the back. Leadership is not a title. It's actually a decision. It's actually a decision. It's a decision that you have to make day in and day out if you're going to lead. All right. It is a decision. All right. This week's question is about visibility, boldness, and presence. Because in the words of one of my favorite thinkers, Seth Godin, the only way to win is to be talked about. watch this clip for yourself. Watch this clip. You can go on YouTube and watch the clip. I won't play it. Let me see. I don't want to.
AI writes like.
But anyway, the title of the video on YouTube is Seth Godin. Are you being talked about? It's titled The Mindset of a Winner. And at about the minute and 54 mark, he drops a gem that shifted the way I view everything. He said, no one spams or advertises their way into a presence. They earn their presence by being talked about. He actually uses the example. If you go on there, you'll hear him say this, but he uses the example. He uses the example of Google and Yahoo. So for years, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Seth Godin did some stuff with Yahoo back in the day. But for years, Yahoo and Google, and even now, if you really think about it, Yahoo and Google had pretty much the same search engine. Like, you could type in a search in Google and type in a search in Yahoo, and you'll get pretty much the same result, to the same hits. So why is it that everyone is going to Google now and not Yahoo? It's because for years, Google missed out on the opportunity to drive people to finance, to drive people to horoscopes, to drive people to news. Like, if you go to the Yahoo, let's just do it now. Let's not talk about it. If you go to the Yahoo website right now, look at what you're going to see. You're going to see weather. You're going to see politics. You're going to see all sorts of information that, again, some people may want to hear, they may not want to hear. And that there's money that's actually generated to Yahoo's homepage for that, right? So the reason people don't search on Yahoo anymore, or they don't say they may, but they're more so when you hear people talk, it's more about Google, is because they missed the opportunity to drive people to all these things. And instead, it's just a one search engine. That's this. You go find what you want. And that's the world we're living in now. It's like, okay, if you want to look something up, you go search on Google. And that's how it happened, because they stayed consistent. They missed opportunities to get a big check from a lot of these advertising companies that were paying Yahoo a lot of money to put their stuff on Yahoo. And they said, I'm going to just do one thing. I'm going to go to Google, and Google's going to be the search engine. And that's why it took off, because they were patient enough to get the right thing. So being talked about, and the focus was more so on being talked about. So all that being said, let me continue to dive into the article here. I'm being talked about, and that's a good thing. So now I'm going to own it on me. I'm going to put it on me. All right, I'm being talked about. Let me keep it real with you. Last year, and then I want to give you some real context on why this situation actually really could have taken me, really could have bothered me if I didn't have the right people in my life, if I didn't have the right inner circle to really take it and teach me, get me to see the positive in what I was told. So let me be real with you. Last year, I made the decision to go live 5 days a week. All right. Last year, in my world, all right, things I pay attention to, there was a lot going on. My Michigan Wolverines were just coming off a championship year. My Washington Commanders were actually looking like some that were, obviously made an NFC playoff run. There was the election that me growing up in Silver Spring, Maryland. There's an election now. I'm no longer, great living with my parents and, under my parents' wing. So now I got to actually make decisions in politics that are really going to be best on my future, best in my business, stuff like that. So, and I wanted to give thoughts and give opinions on so many different topics. And at the time, I was only doing the Daily Move Swiftly Thought, the video that you saw to start this video. That's the only thing I was actually doing from a content creation standpoint. It was every day, it's consistent, but I was not doing these lives regularly every day. But when I really started to see content creators do their thing, I said, let me lean more into this YouTube stuff. And, again, be that person that's talking current events, lining sports, politics, and business, kind of putting something out there that is in that area, right? So I made the decision to go live 5 days a week. Sports, leadership, football, and the culture, climate, all of it needed to be addressed. I had way too much to say, way too many lessons to pull from the headlines to stay boxed into one new video per week. At the same time, I'm a full-time teacher. Like many creators, my time is limited, and I don't have 3-hour blocks every weekday to live stream. So I did what I thought was a win-win. I asked the CEO and the principal of my school if I could use the building to record my podcast. They both said yes, as long as it was on my own time. No problem. All right. So just right there, again, I'll give you the context of the conversation. I went to the CEO, and again, I won't put any names out there, but I went to the CEO, and the principal was right there. And I said, hey, is it an issue if I, host a podcast, if I record a podcast? And I had already was doing the podcast, but now I wanted to do it live where I'm sitting down and talking like this. It's like, is it an issue? Because, I'm there so much, I'm there so often to where if I could go sit down somewhere, it can get to be a lot. If I try to do it somewhere and then travel to school and all that, it was just a lot of stuff going on. And the CEO of the school came to me and said, hey, as long as it is on your own time, no problem. And it has always been on my own time when I do it. And not only that, there's been people on this very show that love the school that I've introduced them to, that want to come and do visits. I mean, it's been a great platform for the type of school that it is, considering who's actually been on the show and the kinds of things I talk about. Again, you can look at the track record, and then you could go look at the vision and the mission of the school, and you'll see really not much of a difference in terms of what it is we're trying to do. We're all in alignment here, right? So, as I say I'm reading the article directly here, I kept it clean. So if you search my YouTube, again, because I wrote this, so if you search through my YouTube channels, my podcast episodes, or my media market, you'll find nothing but respect for the institution I teach at. I've never bashed the school. I've never crossed lines. What I've done is continue to grow my voice and platform consistently, publicly, and proudly. And yet recently I was informed I could no longer record my content on school grounds. No one confronted me directly. No one explained, but someone was clearly uncomfortable with the fact that I was being, talked about right there. Okay, right there. Got to cut it right there. Pause right there. Because initially, and I had this conversation directly with the principal, initially, there's a feeling of hurt. There's a feeling of being attacked. There's a feeling of like, what's going on? Why all of a sudden I have to stop? This isn't tough. It's not given. There's no actual reason to stop. I worked. Obviously, this is a place that employs me, and I needed to pay my bills and eat and all that. So I don't even know why I would think about saying negative things about this. It'd just be a stupid thing to do in itself. And even though I've taken those precautions, still I have to stop doing something that's going to be productive to with no reason. That right there is a blessing, folks. It's a blessing because it allows me to see outside of that one institution and say, okay, if that's the way it's going to be, now we have to think bigger. We have to think broader. See, the problem with a lot of people who get into a job or they're tenured in, they think so small. They think so small in regards to how they go about operating their day. And I see it on a daily basis, something I see in fellow colleagues every single day, is you think so small, and then you wonder why you're not getting to the places that you say you want to be. You wonder why you're not expanding. You wonder why they're not making you the one that's going to grow. You wonder why you're not being broader in certain conversations, because you're only thinking in the confines of a certain area. All right. Now, when I realized the work I was doing was causing this kind of uncomfort, it's like, okay, cool. Now let's double down. Now let's get better. Now let's get sharper. Now let's, make it so the live streams are cut at 30 minutes or 35 minutes, and you get out what you got to get out. And you're not necessarily playing around, because if you were to go that route, you wouldn't be able to build with the place, with the school, the way I'm able to build now. And be able to, again, go out here and meet this one, meet that one. All of this stuff has happened over the past couple of weeks in terms of, hey, now you have to start thinking broader in terms of what you can do and provide for the institution. You don't have to be institutionalized in terms of your thinking. So it was truly, truly a blessing, right? And it's because I had the people in my inner circle to get me to see it that way. So yes, I was initially caught off guard. So was my principal. So both of us. It wasn't like it was just me. It was her, because she, again, like I told you, was told that she knows it's not during his time. He takes the initiative to do what he has to do. So both of us were kind of caught off guard with it. We're not going to fight. It's not that big of a deal. After a brief conversation, we both shook it off and just said, you know what, cool. I'll record somewhere else. It's completely fine. That's the grit that fuels this platform, folks. That's the laser-like focus that moves me forward, regardless of the obstacle. Because let's be clear, let's be clear. Being talked about doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. It means you're doing something visible, something that stands out, something that challenges the status quo, even if you're doing it with excellence, integrity, and purpose. So here's another question to you. To get it to you. Are you being talked about? If not, you might not be doing enough to stand out. And that's okay, because this week we're fixing that. Let me walk you through the things that are coming up. Before I walk you through what we got coming up, I want to take a deeper dive into the question and how kind of give you just some blueprint on how you can go about putting it out there, that you are like how you can get yourself in a position to get there. All right. You really, and then we'll do a deeper dive in all of these points tomorrow on Top 5 Tuesday. But the main thing that we got to take away, that you have to take away from today's conversation and today's live stream, is you gotta believe it. You genuinely gotta believe it. You cannot be appeasing other folks just to win a friend group. You really have to accept the fact that you will not have friends if you want to be successful. If you want to be, and by success, I don't even mean by money standards, to be 100% honest with you. I don't even mean by the things that are around you, like corner offices and, comfortable salaries and, nice luxurious houses. I mean actually success in terms of the people that you have around you, the people that you have in your life. Like, again, the people that I referred to in this very video, the folks that I have around me are helping me see the value and the importance and how much of a blessing it is to be constantly at the tip of people's tongues. Constantly. Someone has this one to say about you. Someone, and it's something over the next. It shows that you're needed. All right. And you can only survive in this place where you need it if you wholeheartedly believe. You gotta believe in what you're doing. You gotta believe in what you're doing on a daily basis. Do not let a day go by where you take the fact that you're actually here for granted. Don't let a day go by where you don't understand how important you actually are, and lean into these things that people talk shit about you when it comes to that. Because I have learned this the hard way. I've learned this the hard way from day one. You get a name that's really difficult for people to pronounce. As a kid, you're already uncomfortable, just mispronouncing things and making mistakes. This does not change as an adult. What I've learned on this side of life, and now that I'm fully in the teaching world, is that teachers have the same mentality. They're so damn afraid to make a mistake. They're so afraid of actually putting their balls out there and actually going and doing something, taking a risk, that anything that is going to disrupt the status quo, anything that's going to get anybody to complain about you or complain about what is something to do, they're running away from, and they're afraid of being talked about. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm telling you, if you learn anything from this video, and again, a lot of what we're going to be discussing this week, is you got to be unapologetically willing to say what the fuck it is you want to say what the fuck it is you need to say, that needs to be said in order to get the job done. All right. So all that being said, tomorrow we will be diving into Top 5 Tuesday, and we're going to be using Charlie Kirk kind of as an example, the late Charlie Kirk as an example on how it was, like, again, the perfect person to talk about in terms of the perfect example to use when it comes to being talked about is Charlie Kirk. So number one, you got to ruffle some feathers, got to believe wholeheartedly, lean into your natural ability, work with the right people, and don't hide. That's really the top 5 ways to do it. And then Wednesday, for Entrepreneur Wednesday, Mr. Biff Poggi, Coach Biff Poggi, got his first win as the head coach of the Michigan Wolverines. Really happy, being that he's from Maryland, and he goes to my school. My diehard Michigan fan here, and he gets that first win in a dominant fashion. Again, not obviously, just Central Michigan, but after that ass kicking that we took by the Oklahoma Sooners in Norman, after that ass kicking we took, it was good to get a dominant win like that, and a win where you actually look like you're supposed to look. So, final word here. If you're being talked about, that means people are paying attention. And when you lead with authenticity, that attention will eventually turn into influence. So the next time someone tells you you're being mentioned in rooms you're not in, smile. You're not for everyone, but you just might be for the people who are ready to grow. That's the move swiftly way. All right, let's get to it. Again, main website to check out to dive deeper into all my work. Ask all about employee development. It's makeyourmove.com. That's MakeYaMove.com. One-stop shop for your teamwork and your self-development needs. As one Crookshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker. Check it out. You guys continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon.